how things do break down, as we will start things off with a Temple of Deceit. Of course, when we do have updates for other matches, we'll let you guys know as the quarterfinals underway here from Cleveland.
So this is no stock list of Abzan Aggro you're seeing here from Connor, and hopefully you'll get an opportunity to peruse when the deck lists get posted. 4 copies of Collected Company in the main deck, and a slightly different threat base here. 4 copies of Herald of Torment in the main, 2 Grim Horror specs as well.
I'm sure he's probably caught some players off guard with the Bestow on Herald of Torment or unmorphing your favorite morph, old Horror specs. Here's a Warden of the First Tree.
Collected Company mid-combat for Grim Horror specs when a lot of trading's going on.
Oh yeah, boy.
I'm sure he's got some real stories this weekend for that card.
Temple of Silence. A little scry action there for Connor. Fabiano. Gonna sacrifice his polluted Delta. Island or a swamp on the way.
Of course, Gerard will not be caught off guard by this, as deck lists are public in the top 8.
It'll be a Bile Blight to get the Warden off the table. Fabiano wants to keep things clear for his foul tongue invocations.
And it's also just important for Gerard to match mana for mana. A way for the matchup to get away from him is if the board gets out of control here, if he's playing catch-up the whole way. So the more that he can just answer threats on a one-for-one basis, make his land drops, his end game's a lot more powerful than Connor's.
Here's a main phase anticipate. Leads me to believe that Gerard doesn't have land.
Most likely scenario.
Play a swamp. And now a Thoughtseize. Get a good look at Connor's hand. Collected Company, Herald of Torment, 2 copies of Dromoka's Command, and the Grim Horror specs.
Pretty good news for Gerard to see this kind of hand, because Dromoka's Command, potent in a variety of matchups. Esper Dragons is not one of them.
It's almost like a virtual mulligan to 5 here. I mean, Dromoka's Command does very, very little against this deck. Collected Company looks like the card Fabiano's going to select. Perhaps he's got removal spells for these other 2 creatures.
Perhaps playing towards Crux of Fate.
Go back Connor's way. Plains the draw. He'll play a Forest. And there's a Herald of Torment. Fabiano is going to untap and draw for his 4th turn of the game. It's a Temple of Enlightenment. Take a look at the top card. Top card's going to stay on top. Herald of Torment will trigger. And now maybe we'll see foul tongue invocation after Gerard gets that little life out of him.
Yeah, might as well get the point.
Yeah,
Gerard's deck does ultimately attack.
Yep.
You know, it's not a Revelation deck that's trying to deck someone behind Elixir of Immortality. So the little points here and there, Gerard will take them.
Maybe Hero's Downfall, we'll see. No action here just yet. Llanowar waits the draw there for Connor.
And this is also a freebie for Gerard here, as Connor with no copies of Valorous Stance in the deck.
Sure.
And Gerard knows about this as well.
All that information is pretty nice. Here's Hero's Downfall. Got removal, point and click, kill that creature. No, it's safe. It's a morph. It
could be anything.
It really could be anything at this point. Gerard gonna very quickly sacrifice his Flooded Strand. Go get himself a basic island. I think we have a Dragonlord Ojutai on the way.
And this is about how Gerard wants to draw it up here.
Yep.
Trade, 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 and now get to the spot where he's got mana, a good threat in play, and his draw steps are going to be very powerful.
There is Dragonlord Ojutai as a plains for Connor, but he is in some serious trouble now. Could be time for a Fleecemane Lion, perhaps.
And I think Connor now debating whether or not he's willing to trade his Grim Horror specs and a Dromoka's Command for the Dragonlord Ojutai.
Quick update for you guys. Kyle Bogmees does win game number 1 over Kenta Hiroki very quickly. Abzan Aggro up a game over Esper Dragons.
And that's very good news for Kyle, because now he gets to board in those Duresses and Thoughtseizes that he doesn't have game 1.
The Horror Specs is going to come into the red zone. Well, excuse me, a morph.
A morph.
A morph is going to attack.
Could literally be anything.
Yep.
You don't know.
That's the point of the mechanic.
Right, you don't
know. It is a Grim Horror Specs. Now here's Dromoka's Command. So they'll trade. And quite clearly, Gerard is happy with that trade if he's willing to make it.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, Gerard, his hand gets forced because if he doesn't block, then when he goes to attack, Connor has access to the same line of play. So he might as well save himself a couple points of damage and make the block up front.
Dig through time. What this is just a bunch of trading by Gerard, and then eventually his card advantage will take over.
Exactly,
That's
and this is what we've seen this formula from him in Legacy, Modern, and Standard now for well over a year to great success. You get the feeling.
Make sure he's got 7 cards there. There we go. Sleeves got a little stuck together.
You get the feeling if he has answer to this Fleecemane line, he knows Connor's hand is just as Jaroka's command. So at that point, Connor's living off the top of his deck. Gerard's got plenty of cards to work with. It's not a lock for Gerard, but Connor has to get very fortunate to be able to win the game from that spot.
Yep. There's a Temple of Deceit, top card. Could become the bottom card. Fabiano, Hero's Downfall, kill your creature, leave you with a Jaroka's command in hand, and make you peel real well. Warren of the first tree isn't a bad start.
Well, it's actually maybe Connor's best threat, assuming that he has to draw one individual one and try to win the game with.
Fabiano's going to play another Temple. Take a look at the top card. It'll stay on top. And now here's Salamga, the Drifting Death. That's the old roadblock. And a way for Fabiano to finish off the game. Fleecemane line the draw here for Connor.
Fleecemane line gives Connor a little bit of hope. If you assume Gerard's hand is lands and he's drawing nothing but lands for a little while, you do monsters with the Fleecemane line, you start doubling mana in a Warden first tree. If Gerard floods out, it's possible. I think right now Connor debating, is it better to cast the Fleecemane Lion or pump the Warden, hope to draw an untapped land, and start going to town?
It looks like he's going to go with the latter. Take the Warden to level 2 and hope to peel a land to take it to level 3. Fabiano, dig through time yet again. Take a look at 7 cards, take 2 with him. And we think of certain players and certain decks that they do play. You know, I think of Ross Merriam, I think of Elves, I think of Jim Davis, I think of Dissolve typically. For Gerard, just dig through time.
Yep, because he does play with a fair number of, he's not sitting on his heels the whole game. He is casting spells the whole way through. He's trying to interact early and often. That has a way of filling up the graveyard, and then cards like Dig Through Time are the way you actually pull ahead in those sequences.
And there are some cards and decks that just resonate with people.
It's true.
To me, it's just, the first time it was just, he seriously just found Dig Through Time decks. The Sultai one was, it just looked so weird the first time we saw it in DC. But now it's just all Dig Through Time all the time.
Another announcement in the background there.
Yes.
Very passionate pro wrestling
passionate
fan.
was the word I was going to use. Very, very passionate judge. Chris Lansdale. Here's a Boone Satyr. That's a biggie.
I'm counting 5 toughness, so again, Gerard's on nothing.
Good old Boone Satyr. Gerard's got to find an answer for this. Boone Satyr's actually a pretty good top deck.
Connor's drawn well over the last couple turns. Yeah. You feel like if he had drawn a land here, no, well, I mean, whatever. Now it's all for naught.
Yeah. Ugin has a way with things.
Yeah.
Of just saying this.
It's not Connor's fault.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify.
Ugin has a way of just saying, actually, we're all done here. We're all done here.
It's so heartbreaking, too, because the last couple of turns from Connor's seat is giving you this, all right, I was definitely beat before, and you're feeling like I actually have a shot here. Maybe Gerard's just kind of missed here, or his answers are not going to be able to be timed the right way, or I can get to a spot where at least I can try to draw Siege Rhino. And Ugin all makes that look pretty foolish now.
It really does. Ugin down to 2 and took care of Fleecemane Lion. And Gerard thinks he has the Dragon Lord's prerogative. He's going to peel 4 more. You can see why players like this control deck. It is very, very powerful. Fabiano play a Flooded Strand coming across for 3 points of damage. Slumgar going to work. Ugin going to go upstairs. And now there's Dragon Lord Ojutai. It's time to get this game over with.
Yep.
And Gerard made this one look pretty easy, all things told. Just some trading with some creatures early on, Thoughtseize to get an idea of what's in the opponent's hand, and then just dragging you up real good. That's all it took. In come the dragons. Silumgar going to have a trigger. 2 of them, in fact. Again, you always got to remember with Silumgar, it's for each dragon that attacks.
Yep.
It's weird. Sometimes we forget, because it doesn't come up very often. It's so easy to think about Silumgar with just Elspeth in that context of, okay, the soldiers don't do anything and I can't minus Elspeth to kill it, but the text of that card actually ends up being a lot more relevant than you think. For example, Enoffense is a 2-2 right now, and now it's just been killed by Bile Blight. So there you go. Connor's going to concede this game because he is beat. Gerard Fabiano wins game number 1 over Connor Bowman. Esper Dragons very quickly up a game over Abzan Aggro.
It gets missed a lot because in Fate Reforged, Silumgar the Drifting Death just kind of showed up as an anti-Elspeth measure in decks with no other dragons. So it's just easy to compartmentalize it in your mind as -1/-1. But no, there's a dragon clause there, and now with Esper Dragons being on the forefront of Standard, it does come up.
2 Merciless Executioner, 3 Corsair Crewfix, a Hero's Downfall, 2 Ultimate Price, 2 Sorin Silent Visitor, 2 Drown Sorrow, 3 Thoughtseize, the options here for Bowman.
Give me 3 copies of Thoughtseize for sure. I think Sorin is fine in the matchup, good, not great. I think the additional copy of Hero's Downfall can come in. Gerard does have some dragons. He's also playing with Ashiok and could be siding in his Narset, so I think the extra Downfall is fine. Merciless Executioner could be sweet here too. Not the easiest threat for Gerard to contain.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that Fleshbag Marauder effect, so and of course get the dragons off the table, Merciless Executioner. When you're playing Collected Company deck too, it's
yeah. It works with a lot of different stuff. Grim Horror specs. Combo deck,
yep.
Man.
You got to be thrilled. You just got to be thrilled. All the cards. 1 Bile Blight, 1 Disdainful Stroke, another copy of Dragonlord's Prerogative, Foul Tongue Invocation, and Ultimate Price. Dragonlord Silumgar, Duress and a Thoughtseize with 1-ofs, along with 3 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Narset Transcendent, 2 Drown in Sorrow. Just a lot of good options.
Removal.
Yeah.
3 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound are great here. The Bile Blight is as well. Foul Tongue Invocation. I think Dragonlord Silumgar will come in here because Gerard, with his discard and counter spells, can set the table for that card to be powerful. I don't know if he's going to want to play Narset while he's on the draw, although Connor's deck for an aggressive deck is a little bit on the slow and cumbersome side, and Narset plussing for additional cards or minusing to rebound removal spells could be a game plan Gerard wants.
And Narset's kind of interesting. You know, I can certainly see where you're coming from, where you don't want to draw, and it's much better on the play because you can just go removal spell, Narset. But on the draw, I mean, it has so much loyalty that you might be able to get away with just playing it on the draw in the face of 2 creatures.
And Connor's deck is a lot more likely to go, comes into play, tap land, turn 2, Fleecebane land, turn 3, play a discard spell, another land that comes into play tapped. He's not playing mono red aggro. He's not going to come out of the gates in this very streamlined way. So it's more likely that Gerard's going to be able to play it, even on the draw, where Connor does have a board, but the board isn't large enough to kill Narset right away, and then Gerard can start extracting some value.
You see Gerard's fantastic hitting sleeves, Panda deck box. He's a fan of Star City Games game night, and who wouldn't be? Because we got some sweet stuff happening here in April. Only a few days left, though, to get the kit.
Yeah, this is our local casual organized play program. Every month we send out a new kit of pins and foils to the stores that are signed up. And the stores can run this program however they want to. We prefer that it's on a consistent day of the week so players can get used to it. But whatever formats you think the players want to play, drafts, constructed, even formats like Commander, however you think is best run. This is the April kit. Only a few days left to get this week kit and pin. This is the May kit coming up here, which is the B. Too late to get signed up for this kit. But if you want to get signed up for June, where we have the bunny, head over to StarCityGames.com/game night for more information.
A game night guy. Getting more popular, too. So thanks to all of our players and tournament organizers out there. Tournament organizers out there as well for taking part in the program.
I know our recovering sideboard coverage man, Nick Miller, big game night fan.
He is. Hoping for the best for Nick. I believe he's scheduled for the Portland show.
That's good.
Hopefully he's up and at him and can fly again. He had some emergency surgery. Ken Crocker doing an admirable job filling in the sideboard.
But we wish a speedy recovery, man.
I miss Nick's dry wit and his love for all things green-white.
He does love a green-white deck.
The #1 card on his My Top 8 cards was Fleecebane Lion, which I just find to be really funny. It's just, I was pretty sure you liked green and white, but that's #1. You've been playing Magic forever. I was really hoping it'd be something like Andrew Brushhopper.
Yeah, what's another good green-white choice? Man, Armadillo Cloak.
There you go.
Noble Panther,
Nice. That's the one green-white card I couldn't afford when I was a kid.
Aura Mutation.
Never really liked that card all that much. I could see Glory or Genesis, those incarnations back in the day.
Handherd Brush Hopper.
Yeah.
That
Keeping
card
it
has
hot.
dealt me a lot of constructed losses over the years.
That card,
Tell you what.
that card was released was busted. It was so good. I remember people couldn't believe that they would print a card like that.
Yeah. I don't think it would be able to hang the same way in Modern Magic.
Not
Be
quite.
good against some control decks, probably, but it would not be the same thing it was back in the day.
Yeah. The Madness Enabler, Android Brush Hopper.
Llanowar Knight.
2/2 Pro Black, Odyssey.
Dang.
Yeah. Didn't even really play competitive Magic then. Just the brain is at work. Fabiano at 21 with Dismal Backwater.
Probably some doozies from Mirage Block I'm forgetting.
Some real stinkers.
Some stankers.
Jasmine Boreal. Hey.
I think Zebra, there's some sort of Zebra that's not very good.
That's what
Whatever.
Twitter's for. They probably know. Warren of the first tree here for Connor. See if Fabiano has an answer to the Warden. He's going to start by playing a Pluto Delta and pass the turn back. Bowman will draw another copy of the Warden. Has a Windswept Teeth and Llanowar Waste in hand. There's Windswept Teeth. In comes the Warden. We'll see if there will be an activation. Connor going to sacrifice his Windswept Teeth. And Gerard says, I have a response. I'd like to sacrifice my Pluto Delta. Swampert Island on the way.
So I like this pump here a lot from Connor because he has another Warden in his hand and he has to be worried about Bioblight. So if he pumps here, most likely if Gerard has Bioblight, you'll see it.
Yep.
Because it looks like it's Connor's whole turn and he wants to go ahead and save himself the 3 damage and kill the creature. At that point, you can follow up post-combat with the other Warden. If Gerard doesn't do anything, well, you can still cast your Warden because it doesn't appear as though he has Bioblight.
Connor going to search up a forest here.
So Connor here, getting a forest, he does have Corsair Krufix in his sideboard, which is a double green requirement.
There's Bioblight. And now here's the backup Warden.
Modern players, your pairings for round 7 and
Fabiano with the Temple of the Sea.
standings
Take a look at the
after
top
6
card.
rounds of Swiss are being posted. Please find your seats. The round will begin in approximately 3 minutes.
Gerard with self-inflicted wound in hand.
Joshua Warren, if you're in the room, please.
But most of the removal is in this deck.
Clock is ready to begin. Joshua
Top card
Warren.
going to stay on top. There is self-inflicted wound. So Connor will lose even more life. And again, this damage does add up when you're playing a deck with Dragon Ochotai Dragons to get the game over with. Is it Rhino time? It's Collected Company time.
Fun. More fun than Siege Rhino.
I agree. It could be not fun. Oh, no.
Come on.
Less fun. Just a ward of the first tree. Very expensive 1/1. That can become more. But if you're Gerard, you actually have to be pretty happy you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Temple of Deceit.
It's pretty good collected company for Gerard.
Yeah.
And there's 26, sorry, excuse me, no copies of Siege Rhino count. So 22 hits in Connor's deck.
Maybe a few more after sideboard.
Well, he has Corsair Krufix. If anything, it's possibly less.
Okay.
And Merciless Executioner doesn't count as a hit in
That
spot.
would be a tough hit.
Wah, wah.
Yep. Another self-inflicted wound. There's a temple.
And what's really telling about Gerard's sideboards, they're always chock full of one-ofs. And a lot of these cards do duty in multiple matchups. So when Gerard has a narrow sideboard card that he has a bunch of, it feels because he really needs to address the matchup or because the card's so good when it's good that he's worth having sideboard slots that are a little bit more narrow. 3 copies of Self-Inflicted Wound in his sideboard.
There's dig through time.
Just knows he's going to play against a lot of Siege Rhino decks. He knows it's going to be excellent when he plays against them.
You'll take a look at 7 cards.
And he is getting paid off right now.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes at Open Series events, certain players sign certain cards. I know, given your Twitter handle, you've signed a lot of Basic Mountains in your day. If you run into Gerard, yeah, that's the guy who should be signing Dig Through Time.
Games of Magic should be determined by...
Nobody really does it better right now.
Yeah.
Games of Magic.
Risen Executioner in hand. It's ready for a dragon.
Any of the following things: rolling dice, flipping coins, revealing the top card of your deck after your
I guess a Fleecemane line would be a decent play. Yep. I mean, it gives Connor something to do.
He can't. I think he was trying to see if he could wait until 7 mana, but Gerard's got so many different responses. I think you just gotta cast it.
I think so too. There's Dragonlord Silumgar. Yeah, Connor was expecting his creature to die. It's completely understandable. Yep, there's Merciless Executioner.
Boom!
That's the big finish. Here comes Fleecemane Lion.
You have 50 minutes to complete your match, and you may begin play. Good luck.
I believe it was Dragonlord Ojutai was the draw. I believe. Yep. That's that sinking feeling. Here's Boon Satyr.
Okay. I mean, Connor has an attack this turn.
Yeah.
If Gerard has nothing, he's got a good attack.
Well, as Gerard showed in the last game, he was more than happy to just say, all right, I'll just block your creature. You know, I'll just trade. I'll just keep trading. You might see that again.
He may have to, but it's a little bit hairier than it was last game where he was running Connor completely out of resources.
Fleecemane Lion, I believe, is going to go monstrous. Yep. This is just, it just feels like a repeat of game 1.
Yeah, and Gerard's got so many edicts post-board between Foul-Tongue Invocation and Self-Inflicted Wound that a monstrous Fleecemane Lion is not going to be much of a problem.
Yeah. Reveal a dragon. It's another Dragonlord Ojutai.
Okay.
Gain 4 life, yeah. I can't remember who, oh my goodness. I dig through time here. I can't remember who wrote that someone wrote an article this week. I can't remember. It escaped me the person. They basically said, when you beat someone with Esper Dragons, you beat them with Esper Dragons.
We've had Gerard play some very close matches on camera, but this has not been one of them.
Yeah. It just looks like what you're doing at times is so much better than what your opponent is doing. Every card that Gerard has cast has been, whew, there's okay. Pick a card.
3 dragons, your choice.
Pick a card. Ugin, Dragonlord Silumgar, Dragonlord Ojutai. For the sake of this game, can we make it Hymnotorak?
I guess it's probably Ugin here.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I'm going to go Dragonlord Silumgar. Is there another discard spell I'm hoping for Connor? I'm pulling for you, Connor. I am. Here's a Siege Rhino.
Okay, so stands the reason why he would take the Control Magic Dragon. He's still got to get through Ugin.
Yes. Unable to do that last game. Not sure if he's going to be able to do it this game. Dragonlord Ojutai is what Gerard will go with. And Self-Inflicted Wound. We'll take care of that. Pass the turn back. Quick update for you guys. Kyle Bakamis did win his match. Abzan aggro in his hands. Did defeat Kenta Hiroki playing Esper Dragons 2-0. Kyle being on the play there probably mattered a lot.
So I will say that I think on that Thoughtseize, Connor needs to take the Ugin, cast Siege Rhino, because Gerard, there is some risk with him playing Dragonlord Silumgar, because Connor could rip a removal spell and suddenly it's a game.
Yeah.
Whereas Ugin, I just don't think he can beat.
I don't think he can ever beat this card.
Right.
Yeah. That's the big issue, is I don't think he can ever beat it. Now, it's not great staring at 2 dragons in the face, obviously, but I don't think he could ever beat Dragonlord Silumgar.
At least you have hope of drawing the right string of cards in a row and Gerard draws nothing. I think Ugin makes it too hard to win even if that sort of scenario manifests.
We have 1 spot.
Congratulations to Gerard Fabiano on a very dominant win, and it's been a dominant tournament. I mean, it's not over yet, and he has the potential to run into Ross Merriam